This is the most powerful Porsche Macan GTS ever made. It's called the 2026 Porsche Macan GTS EV. It has over 536 horsepower and it costs over $100,000. And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys everything you need to know about this car, from the specs, the design of the interior and the exterior, and much, much more. So let's go. And first thing first, we need to talk about the specs of this car because it's powered by, well, dual motor 800 volt architecture that creates 536 horsepower and 704 pound-feet of torque. And those specs are just insane. But, well then, all that power goes through a direct speed automatic transmission via all four wheels because you have that beautiful all-wheel drive to help this car rocket to 0 to 60 in a completely mind-boggling 3.6 seconds. I mean, the Porsche Macan Turbo, the EV version of the Porsche Macan Turbo, well, that has a 0 to 60 in about 2.9 seconds, but still, 3.6 seconds 0 to 60 for a 5-seater car is crazy as heck. And then, well, the top speed is also seriously insane because this car's top speed is over 155 miles an hour. So far, those specs have been quite insane. But, well, there's just one more thing that you guys probably don't even know what it is, at least spec-wise, which is the quarter mile. Because pretty much all cars, if they're fast or slow, have a quarter mile rating. And if the quarter mile is slow, well, then your car overall is slow. If your quarter mile is fast, then your car overall is fast. Because quarter mile measures how fast the car goes from a stop at the quarter of a mile to the quarter of a mile. So in between a quarter of a mile, it sees how fast it could drive that distance. And well, this car's quarter mile is just insane because the quarter mile is 12 seconds flat. Most supercars these days do 11 to 10 second quarter mile, but this thing weighs a good amount. It looks seriously good. It's quite expensive, but overall, the biggest thing is that it has 5 seats, and it pretty much is a supercar slayer. But, well then, we've talked about all those wild specs. Now, another thing we need to talk about is the range and the MPG. Because if the car's MPG or range isn't good, then, what's the point of the car? Because cars are meant for driving, obviously. So if you can't drive it too far, then, it's kind of useless. But, well, now, let me tell you guys that, because this car's range in MPG is pretty good. But, well, the MPG E is 91, so 91 MPG is seriously good. And then the range is, I mean, not the greatest, but still, it's relatively good for this car, over 291 miles of range. So, the specs are crazy. The range in MPG is relatively good. Now, the last thing that I'm probably wondering is, well, what is the price of this car? And actually, before I tell you guys that, we need to talk about the history of the Porsche Macan. And, well, it all started in 2013 when Porsche codenamed a new model called the Porsche Cajun. So it's just like the Louisiana cuisine called Cajun, but it pretty much meant Cayenne Junior. So that's what it meant, even though a lot of you guys might get it mixed up with the type of cuisine, but that was actually the code name for this baby Cayenne. And, well, from 2014 to 2016 was when they actually started producing them. And first thing first, you had the Porsche Macan S, which had about 340 horsepower, and that at the time was the base model. But then also, you had the crazy 400 horsepower Porsche Macan Turbo, which was also crazy fast. But then, from, well, 2017 to 2018, Porsche came out with the actual base model, which had about 250 horsepower. And it's strange that Porsche didn't reveal the base model first, then the higher trims later, but instead they revealed the most expensive trim first and the lower trim later. Strange, but also quite interesting. And then also that same year, they came out with the Porsche Macan GTS, which had about 370 or 360-ish horsepower, and that was supposed to fill the gap between the Porsche Macan S and the Porsche Macan Turbo. So that was supposed to be a model in between the rest of the models. And it was supposed to be more driver-focused, performance-oriented, and overall better. And, well, then, from 2019 to 2021, that was the first and probably, well, the main facelift to the Porsche Macan because, well, one, at least for the gas model, they brought out a full width rear light bar. So the light bar, instead of having two separate pieces here, it was an entire length rear light bar like in the Porsche 911, and then 2, now you had a 10.9-inch touchscreen, which is also really, really nice compared to the older, I believe 6 or 7-inch touchscreen that they had before. And then also, another really cool thing was that Porsche Macan S now had a 3.0-liter single-turbo V6, which before it had a smaller engine, so now it had a bigger, more powerful engine. And yeah, then from 2022 to 2025, that was the final facelift, at least so far, to the gas-powered Porsche Macan, because, well, one, they took away the turbo nameplate. Kind of sad, but they took away the turbo nameplate and pretty much replaced it with the GTS. Not this one, because this is a BEV, or battery electric vehicle Macan, but, well, the GTS from before actually became more powerful than the turbo and ended up replacing it. And also, now, well, at least from 2022 to 2025, Porsche brought in the Porsche Macan T, which stands for Porsche Macan Touring. Quite interesting. And actually, in 2024 and 2025, Porsche thought they'd have to stop production of the gas-powered Macan. That's why they created this, the electric Macan. And it was because of a whole bunch of cyber regulations and stuff like that in Europe and America. But, well, then, they don't have those regulations anymore. So Porsche in 2027 is actually bringing back the Macan as an all-new model. And actually, there's a lot of spy shots of them so far, but a little more on that later. But yeah, then from 2025 to the present, now you have the brand new BEV battery electric vehicle Porsche Macan. And this is the most powerful, most wild looking, most interesting Macan to date. So I think I've told you guys pretty much everything you need to know about this car, at least so far. Now all I need to tell you guys is one more thing, which is the price. Because, well, this car starts at a whopping $105,000. And, well, certain specs like this one go all the way up to $128,000. This car right here is exactly $128,300. So this beautiful Carmen red paint, nice spec'd interior, and all this really nice trim, it has a whopping price tag of $128,000. Comment down below in the comments if you guys would buy for that much. I think I would. Well, let's find out. So, we've talked about everything you need to know about this car, at least under the hood. Now, let's start checking out the design of the interior and the exterior. And, well, first, I want to talk about the front of this car, because the electric version of the Macan compared to the regular version of the Macan look a lot different. And first, I want to talk about these headlights, because check this out. Almost Porsche Taycan style headlights. And if you look closely, you have these like 4 little daytime running lights there, which of course is really cool. And actually, this is actually borrowed from the Citroen Picasso. So many cars these days use it, but not many people know where it comes from. So you have your daytime running lights up here, okay? And then you hop down here, and these are the actual lights that you drive with at night. So if your nighttime running light there, you have your nice little fog light there, and then some more lights down there. And this is really interesting. Like, a lot of car companies these days use it so that they can make the front light look like really smooth and cool looking, and it doesn't take up as much space, but then they actually put the proper headlight down there, so that is a really cool feature that you don't see every day. Then you also have this really nice Porsche badge here, with Stuttgart there as well, which of course also looks really, really nice. With all the turbo models, the color of the badge is actually called Turbonite, so it's like this like grayish color to signify that it's a turbo series. Then you also have down here nice little air intakes on both sides. Let's show you on this side, because the air intake actually feed air straight through here and then through the little hole here. I don't know if you guys can see my hands here, but there's little hole here, and it lets the air, pretty much feeds the air from the front of the car to the wheels and tires to cool them off. So let's say you're on a racetrack or something, really helpful and really nice. Then you also have this nice little piece here, is like black trim there, which all Macan GTS series have. And one way you could tell it's a Macan GTS is actually this. So most Macans have like a smaller type of like a lip here, but this, like the Macan, even more than the turbo, has this humongous spoiler right there, which of course is also really nice. Then you also have these nice little air intakes here, shark gill type air intakes, like on the Porsche 911, the Carrera GTS, the hybrid one, so these could open or close. Then you got a little sensor there. And then you come to the side of this car and you have these really, really nice rims. This is another thing that you only get on the Porsche Macan GTS, the electric version. One really nice badge there. You have your 5-point connectors there, and then humongous. Look at those monstrosities. Like literally, my hand. This is like a easy 12 inches. Those rims are humongous. I mean, this car is wildly fast, so that's expected. But then also, it's really nice. I believe these are the 918 style rims, Porsche calls it, on the configurator, which is also really, really cool. And yeah, so a lot of things on the Porsche Macan GTS is like, I guess you'd say like dark black, like glossy black. And the reason why is so you know this is a GTS and not just a regular trim. So that's also really cool. Also, there's nice little like pieces here kind of sticking out, so it looks a little wider. You have electric badging there as well, which also looks really nice. Then you come here and you have this really nice mirror thing here. It's just like on the Porsche 911, like pretty much all Porsches have the same type of mirrors, which is quite cool, so you know it's a Porsche. But yeah, you have nice body colored mirrors there, little blinker light that extends all the way to the side of the car there. Then you also hop down here, and here's another little Easter egg that you know it's a GTS. So a nice GTS badging there as well. You hop up, and when you look at the side view of this car, it's definitely really interesting. It doesn't necessarily look like a SUV. It looks more like a sedan that kind of grew too tall, kind of like the Polestar 4 that I reviewed. You guys could check that video up with the link below and in the description. But anyways, this is a new type of trend, this like SUV-ish sedan things, which I think are quite cool because they're more aerodynamic, but also it's kind of hard to tell exactly what they are. Then also you come over here and you have this really nice fuel cap right there. Not necessarily a fuel cap, but whoa, that is actually for the battery. So yeah, so that's also really interesting. So you pretty much just put your hand, wave it a little like that, and then it opens. We're not necessarily getting it closed. I don't know why it's not working this time, but yeah, so that's also quite interesting. Then you come to the back of this car, and this is, well, the front and the back are definitely the biggest changes compared to the regular Macan, like the Macan gas-powered version, which they actually stopped producing this year. But this entire car is pretty much based on the Porsche electric architecture, and the regular gas Macan is actually based on an Audi Q5, or at least the original version of it. But anyways, then you have this rear light here, which of course is really nice. Nice exposed rear light there. You have a Porsche badging here, and this isn't actually regular Porsche badging, it's actually special, because if you go over here, you guys might notice this. So check this out. This actually glows. It's kind of like see-through almost, so at nighttime it glows red, so that you know it's a GTS model, not just any regular old Macan. Then you also have Macan GTS badging here as well, which is also really nice. A little camera here, which is also quite cool. And then check this out. This is another reason how you know it's a GTS, not just a regular Macan. This tiny little wing here. So you have this cool little wing here. I don't know how much aerodynamics that thing creates, but it actually does create more downforce than most fake car wings, because this entire panel here actually lifts up. So this piece is actually, like, it works, so it actually lifts up the entire piece right here and creates downforce. So this actually helps with downforce instead of just being for show. So Porsche, good job on that. Then also you hop down here, and where you usually find exhaust pipes, there's nothing. There's just little like rear diffuser pieces here. The underbody of this car is actually really, really flat, so that it's as aerodynamic as possible, which is also really nice. Then you also have those blinker lights there. So now we've checked out pretty much all of this really cool exterior of this car. Now let's check out the frunk and the trunk. I've never said that before, but this thing has a trunk and a frunk, and I'll show you guys what those look like. So let me get the key out here, and you can either press this button here, or you can press a little button hidden over here. So check this out. Right next to the camera, pretty hard to see if you're just standing up, there's a little button here that shows the trunk. You prop that open, and, well, voila, you have your really nice trunk there. You could put your seat down electrically there, which is also really, really nice. You also have these cool little storage areas on both sides of the car there, which is also really nice. Some extra floor mats, and also you have this cool trim here. So this is actually, Porsche adds this on whenever they ship the vehicle. So let's say they're putting packages or something like this in the trunk of the car, like it doesn't scrape the metal, but you can take this off. It's a little hard to because it's kind of like pushed down there, but that is also quite interesting. Then come over here, you have the, like this piece here, which is also really cool. This is pretty much when you close the trunk, that closes over as well, so you could store like boxes and stuff like that securely. You also have these cool things, so let's say you want to put a fishing pole or something like that, it just stores it right there. You also have these hooks over here, so if you're gonna hold stuff down or tie stuff down, which is also really, really nice. Now let's close this trunk up and start checking out the frunk, because yeah, that's what it is. So close this up, and if you come to the front of this car, you have a frunk. Since this car doesn't have a regular gas engine, like pretty much 90% of, well, not 90, but 70% of cars in this world, well, this has a frunk. And I couldn't find the button in the interior, so I'm just gonna use the key, but you press that, and it opens up, voila. So you have Porsche badging there. These are your charging cables, so they don't stow them in the trunk, which would be like a little inconvenient, but instead they store it up here. And also Porsche adds this badge here so you know it's a charging cable, which is also quite helpful. And overall, the space in here, it's kind of hard to tell since it's a charging cable, but you have Macan badging there, and space is not, it doesn't have the greatest amount of space, but still, I mean, it's relatively good. You should be able to fit one like medium or small size suitcase in there, but you'll have to put that in the trunk. So, but then also you have this cool little button here, it says exit on it, and it doesn't really seem useful at first, but then when, let's say there's a toddler climbs into the frunk and gets stuck or something, they could just press this button, because it actually also glows in the dark, which is also really helpful, and the trunk will just pop right open. So that is a really cool safety feature, and it's, the only problem is it's kind of hard to see, like you have to kind of look like this in order to see it, but still, it's relatively nice. Then you also have a nice storage area right there as well, which is also really, really cool. And yeah, then you also have Macan badging there as well, which also looks really nice. And storage area, it's not the biggest storage area ever, but still, it's nice that it stores away the cables, so it doesn't have to be in the trunk. And yeah, then you also have those air intakes here. So these are actually air intakes right there and on both sides of the car. I don't know why only one's functional, the other one doesn't necessarily seem functional, but yeah. So I have to go check out pretty much all of the really cool exterior of this car. Now let's hop inside and see if the interior is just as cool. Okay, so now let's hop inside. So now we're inside this interior, and let's start checking it out. And first thing first, I want to talk about the front of this car, because the center console is definitely really interesting. You have this really nice carbon fiber trim here. You have this interesting like black trim over here, which is also quite interesting. I'm not exactly, like, it's kind of more like a mirror than anything, because I can actually see myself perfectly fine. But yeah, then you also have nice little AC pieces here as well. Nice little, like you could turn up or down the strength of the AC. Obviously it's not on right now, but that is also a really nice feature. Then also you check out this door right here, and you have this really nice set 1, 2, 3. You have lock button, unlock button, more carbon fiber trim here, which is also really, really nice. And then also this really nice blue ambient lighting. I really like how it's going all the way like across the cabin of the car, which is of course a nice little touch. More, oh, this is actually like pretty much all of the interior on the GTS. That's another thing that makes it more sport oriented. A lot of stuff is Alcantara, like this is Alcantara. The roof is also Alcantara, which is also really, really nice. And it just makes the interior feel that much more aggressive, I guess you could say. Then you have really nice more Alcantara trim here as well. And actually, storage area right here, it's relatively good. It goes in, oh, quite deep. You could probably fit like a bottle or two in there. You have nice Bose speakers here as well, which also look seriously nice. And yeah, then you also have this like soft leather type of material, and then also your really nice leather trim there. And actually, now let's start checking out this glove box, because the glove box, it's, I mean, relatively spacious. Not the most spacious, but you have nice little Porsche booklet there, all about your Macan. Then, and yeah, so the space in here I mean, it's relatively good for this car. Like, this isn't supposed to be like a minivan and have so much space, but overall, I mean, it's a relatively good amount of space. Then also, I want to talk about the view out of this car, because out of this car, the view is definitely, I mean, it's quite nice. Like, you have also this here, so you pop that open and you have a nice little mirror there as well. You have a little light there, and actually Porsche, Bentley, Audi, and a couple other companies have this like piece here. And the reason why Porsche, Audi, and Bentley have this is actually because the Volkswagen Group owns Porsche, Bentley, Audi, and multiple other companies. So some features are brought to different cars from like a single brand. So that is also definitely really, really nice. You can also open the roof. Oh, check this out. So a nice little roof opening button there as well. So you can roll it backwards. That's strange. There's literally no, like, you don't press it in. It's just like you don't have to do any force. You just like tap it and the whole roof opens up. So this is just for the piece that covers the roof, like the carbon fiber piece. That's really nice because not a lot of cars have it, but this piece that comes like across the top, it pretty much blocks out the sunroof. So let's say you're driving on a hot sunny day and you don't want like so much sun like on you, then you just close that up and you're good to go. But one thing that I'm not a huge fan of on like Volvo EX30 and stuff like that, and also like Polestar 4, and also like Tesla does it as well. Like they have, it's just a sunroof, but there's no covering. So like hot days, you'll just burn up. But I really like how Porsche does this because this roof, like not many companies do it, this like closable piece so it blocks out the sunroof, but Porsche is definitely really nice that you added that in. Then also you have this. This is the actual button for the sunroof, because you have a button here for the individual block to block out the sunroof. Then you have this for the sunroof. So you hold that in place and you can either close it up or keep it open. And also, check this out. So you have this thing right here, this soft little net-like thing here. You guys might not know what it's for, but it's actually to block wind from flowing inside of the cabin. So this is seriously nice. Like not many cars have it, but I definitely say this is a really cool feature that a lot of people probably overlook because they don't know what it does. But yeah, then we also have, you could turn on the rear lights. Let's turn those off. And then you have the main lights here, and you could turn those off as well. And actually, it's interesting. Like these buttons, they're not actually physical buttons. It's like beeping buttons, and it's actually kind of cool because it seems like it's physical, but it's not. Almost, it reminds me of the like older, like those like 2013 iPhones had a home button. Like it wasn't an actual button. It's really hard to tell that it's not a button, but it's just a sound that makes it seem like a button. Really, really genius, but still a really cool feature. Then you actually, oh, so this has pretty much the same type of principle. You just tap this lightly and it turns on or off. So it's not a real button, but still, that's also really cool. Then you also have SOS button there, some speakers here, which also look definitely quite nice. Yeah, so that is also definitely quite nice. Then also you have this nice little sideless mirror here. It's definitely pretty good size, and I'm a huge fan how a lot of car companies, including Porsche these days, are using these like sideless mirror design, because it just like makes it look more like elegant and smooth and not with this extra pieces on it. So this is another, it's also a really cool thing. Then you also have, check this out, a little clock. So this shows you the time. Like this is just a minute. It's a minute clock, not an hour and minute clock, but just a minute clock. So that is definitely really nice. And it also shows you the hours inside of there. And I believe there's, or actually no, you have to get the Sport Chrono package, because if you get something called Sport Chrono package, you guys want to check that out on like on the web. But anyways, if you check that out, it's pretty much like a little package you get. It's about $2,500, but it allows this clock to be a timer. So let's say you're going on the Nürburgring and you want to time yourself. Let's see how fast I go. You just press a button, integrate it into the screen, but only if you have the Sport Chrono package. And then, well, it helps you. Like you could just press start, and then you could see the timer here instead of just on the screen. So it makes it feel more like a race car than just a regular on the screen timer. So that's also really, really nice. You also have these nice little AC pieces here as well. Nice little mics or speakers there. And it actually, another really interesting thing, check this out. So this is it's not working right now, only when you drive it, but it's a heads-up display. So it's like, it floats, like there's a piece right here, and it floats and shows you like how fast you're going, your range left, and the time, etc. You could change it, like modify it if you want, but that's a really cool feature, but we can't show you guys that right now. So now, actually, I want to talk about the seats in this car, because this car's seats are seriously, seriously nice. And actually, there's multiple features that you can't get on any other GTS that's on this car. So one, check this out. So it's really nice, like a triangular, like star type design. It's not Alcantara. It feels a lot like Alcantara, but it actually stops you from sweating, which is seriously cool. And also, it holds you in place, because the leather, it's really nice, but sometimes leather could be a little more slippery, like let's say you're on a racetrack, but this holds you in place really, really well. Also, you have this like lion stitching here as well. There's also these. So you have these pieces, like these side pieces right here. And the reason why is pretty much so it holds you in place better. So like, let me show you guys here. If it didn't have the side pieces, it wouldn't be as good. But like, I'm sitting here and it holds me in place so much better because it has these side pieces that are actually derived from race cars. And actually, you have more of them there. Then you also have nice GTS badging there as well. Then, actually, now let's put on these seat belts, because I want to see how good these are. So, Porsche so far has had some of the best seat belts I've ever seen on cars, and yeah, it still is. Like, these seat belts, like, probably, they're so smooth, almost completely quiet, and overall, like, Porsche seat belts, definitely really, really high quality seat belts. So, Porsche, good job on that. And yeah, so I think we've checked out pretty much all of most of the stuff in this interior. Now I want to start checking out this touchscreen, because this is another thing that's really, really interesting. And so first, I want to talk about this main home area of the screen. You have search, navigation, media, phone, car. Let's actually check out the car. You have a little Macan on the front, and you could change all your drive modes and everything. So you can, if you want to press this, you can go to Sport Plus, Off-Road, Sport Mode. So Sport Plus is pretty much a sportier version of Sport Mode, if that makes any sense. Then you also have chassis. You could turn it on to like Sport Plus is more hard. Sport is a little harder, but not extremely hard. And normal is just the softest mode available. You also have level. You could lift or lower the car, which is also really nice. And this is in the lowest mode, so it looks the most aggressive, but you could also lift it if you're going over like a bump or something. You also have electric sound, so that is really cool. We won't be able to show you this because we're not accelerating, but when you drive this car and accelerate, then if you press this mode, then when you accelerate, then there's this sound, just like, whoo, it almost sounds like a rocket ship mixed with electric car, and yes, that's also really nice. Then you also have spoiler. Let's show you guys that right now. Yeah, then you have the spoiler there. You could also go to assistance, and you have like cruise control, additional functions here like speed warning, lane assist, etc. You also have charging. You have target charging 100% there, which is also really, really cool. Then you could also go to comfort here. You have communication light, ambient lighting, comfort entry, and that, of course, is also really nice. Then you could go to home. You have level, etc. You have phone there. You have music there. You also have this area right here. This is, okay, so close. But yeah, so you could like adjust this. So this is your little Porsche version of Google Maps, and the screen is, here, let's drag this guy to the side. The screen is, it's not like, I mean, it's relatively good. Like, compared to the regular, yeah, I guess you could say, compared to regular Porsches, like, at least the Porsches I reviewed before, the screen used to be really bad, but this one is actually relatively quick. It might not be the highest quality or anything, but this is definitely quite nice. You go into 3D mode. Oh, it's actually, it's a good deal quicker once you put it in 3D mode, so that is also really, really nice. Then, also, you could go to apps, and you have all that stuff there, navigation, etc. You have settings, climate, sport, chrono. You have App Center, Sirius XM, Bose, HomeLink, Smart Service, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And actually, I'm going to show you guys themes here. This actually changes your ambient lighting theme. So you could press, let's do this, and your ambient lighting turns red, and you could do it to blue. Oh, actually, this isn't for ambient lighting. This is for background color. So let's put it in red, because we're in a GTS, so it has to be red and sporty. So yeah, now we've checked out pretty much all of that really cool screen, and now let's keep checking out this interior. And yeah, so you have this nice little, this is a button here, and you could turn on like the sound of music or AC and stuff like that. You could also go here, and this is actually your really nice cup holders. They're kind of deep set, so you could have really tall cups and don't fall over, so that's also really nice. You also have a nice little like trim that comes across like in the Cayenne. So yeah, overall this interior is definitely really like not geometrical, like symmetrical. Like everything is perfectly in line, as you could see if you just look at the center of this car. So that is also, of course, really nice. You have more storage here, a lot more storage hidden under here, which is also really nice. Nice little phone charging piece there, and you could close it up by pressing that back, and it just pops forward there. So that is also really nice. Then you also have your steering wheel here, and yeah, it's fully carbon fiber, which is really nice. Nice little like smaller weave carbon fiber than the rest of the interior, since it's a smaller piece, but still that is also definitely seriously nice. Then also you have different drive modes there. You have a Porsche badge there, which also looks really cool. And then also you have like current pressure. You have measuring above 15 miles an hour. Oh, so that's for tire pressure. You have GTS. It shows you the miles an hour. That is actually for RPM. So the top is 0 RPM. Then it goes all the way down to red when you're at high revs. And you can see that white piece right there. That's for your high revs. Then you also have like your range, your battery charge, what direction you're pointing. And yes, that is also really cool. And actually, you would actually change. So let's go here to the center here, but if you go here, oh, so that's actually home, but if you go here, check this out. So you go to themes, and I could change it. So all this stuff changed here, not just one piece or the other, but this changes. See, I could change it to any color I want, which is really cool. I'll put it in red because it looks the most sporty, and Macan GTS EV, so that is also really nice. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of this really cool interior, at least the front seats. Now let's hop in the back before we near the end of our video. And so now we're in the back of this car, and first thing first, I want to talk about this. So you have this really nice handle here, have a nice little carbon fiber trim there, some more buttons there as well. Then you also have nice little window switches there, more Alcantara trim, which also looks really nice, and a little bit of storage back there. So yeah, that is also really nice. You also have Bose speakers there, area right here. Oh, you could probably put like a book or a tablet or something there, which is also really cool. And yeah, the back seats, this is with the seats fully back, and still, I mean, I have probably like 2 inches of leg room or a knee room. Like I could actually spread out quite nice back here, and I could lay back relatively good in those seats over there. Like with the seat more pushed forward, the knee room is definitely way better. And just for like, this is all the way back, but for like a comfortable adult sitting here, I still, like even another adult can comfortably like easily fit back here. Then you also have this here, you have nice little switches here. This could turn up the like strength of it. You have some more buttons there, and also 2 USB-C chargers down there. And actually now you also have these nice little pieces here. So you have 2 little cup holders there, which is also really nice. And oh, so you have to kind of click that in place. But yeah, then you hop in the middle seat, and it's definitely not the most comfortable like pretty much all other cars, but still, I mean, I guess you could say it's relatively nice. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of the interior of this seriously cool car. Now let's hop out and near the end of our video. Okay, so I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe, share and reviews, and also check out my X and Instagram, where I post some of the coolest car news and car photography that I know. And those links will be down in the description below, so make sure to check this out. And also comment down below if you'd rather take this or a BMW X5. So see you guys next time.